Sulong form? This transformation begins within a few seconds when members of the mink tribe look at the full moon, temporarily turning them into a powerful form. Its name was first mentioned a few times in the zoo arc. Chopper developed a special drug that allows a mink to transform into Sulong without needing to look at the full moon. This drug enables the transformation at any time of the day, even without a full moon. Through this transformation, their eyes turn blood red, their bodies grow larger, and their fur and hair turn pure white. Overall, their bodies take on a more beastly appearance, and after transforming, they are constantly surrounded by electro sparks. Upon transformation, they become incredibly strong and fast. When Carrot activated her Sulong form, everyone was terrified of her, and she effortlessly took down enemies and removed the helm of a ship. Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, in their Sulong forms, defeated Jack without showing any signs of exhaustion. However, Sulong form has a disadvantage. After transforming, they somewhat lose their consciousness and may attack nearby allies. When Pekoms lost control, Pedro intervened to stop him. In addition to its mental effects, Sulong form also has significant physical consequences. Although Carrot used her Sulong form for only a few minutes, she nearly reached the point of losing consciousness. Chopper's Rumble Ball. Chopper's Rumble Ball is a special drug developed by Chopper that activates and enhances Devil Fruit abilities. This drug is a small yellow pill containing various chemicals. According to Chopper, during his 2 years of training, he improved all his beast transformations and gained the ability to freely shift into any form he desired. Like other Zoan types, Chopper can use his normal form, Walk Point, his hybrid human form, Brain Point, and his full human form, Heavy Point. Walk Point resembles a reindeer and is generally used for escaping from or tracking enemies. Brain Point, as the name suggests, enhances intelligence. In this form, his head becomes significantly larger, allowing him to think more clearly and evade enemies more easily. This is also the form Chopper stays in most of the time. In Heavy Point, he becomes physically much stronger. His body grows larger and he becomes more suitable for combat. Aside from these forms, Chopper also utilizes several other points. In Guard Point, similar to Luffy's balloon form, he wraps his body in fur, mainly for defensive purposes. In Horn Point, he strengthens his antlers, gaining a new form with massive horns, which he has referred to as his strongest form. In Kung Fu Point, Chopper resembles the inhabitants of Torino Kingdom, where he trained. In this form, he is highly skilled in Kung Fu. In Jumping Point, Chopper resembles a reindeer, but with much longer arms and legs. His jumping abilities in this form are so impressive that even Sanji was amazed. In Arm Point, Chopper's arms become incredibly strong, reaching a level where he can shatter rocks with his punches. Monster Point is the form where Chopper transforms into a nearly giant-sized version of himself, making it his physically strongest form. Before the time skip, Chopper would lose control in this form. However, after 2 years of training, he can now enter Monster Point without losing control. Awakened Devil Fruit. Paramecia. Paramecia. Awakening occurs when a Devil Fruit user's mind and body catch up to their powers. When the fruit is awakened, it grants the user new abilities. However, if the user has not fully mastered it, they suffer severe endurance drawbacks. An awakened Paramecia user gains the ability to transform the physical environment around them in accordance with the nature of their Devil Fruit, or manipulate transformed material beyond the limits of their own body. Doflamingo, upon awakening his fruit, enhanced his string-creating ability, allowing him to manipulate the ground and buildings without direct contact. During his battle with Luffy, Katakuri fought similarly to Doflamingo, turning surrounding objects into mochi. Besides these, there are also devil fruits that exhibit unique characteristics. For example, Eustace Kid possesses the ability to magnetize objects, including living beings, causing them to be forcefully pulled together or buried under mountains of metal. Similarly, Law alters the properties of foreign objects, creating rooms that defy fundamental spatial laws. Awakened Devil Fruit. Zoan, incomplete, comes with the risk of consuming the user's personality, turning them into mindless human beasts. The greatest example of this is the jailer beasts of Impel Down, who act purely on instinct. They are permanently in their full beast forms while still retaining human characteristics. It remains unclear whether they have lost themselves and permanently awakened in this state or if they consciously choose to remain in these forms. Awakened Devil Fruit. Zoan Complete. It represents the perfected form of Zoan awakening. As seen with Lucci and Kaku, not all Zoan users lose themselves upon awakening. After full awakening, black smoke emanates from the user's body. There is still little known about the awakening of mythical Zoan fruits, but while many characters retain their original personalities, Nika's case appears to be somewhat different. After awakening, Kaku and Lucci became significantly faster and stronger. Similarly, the five elders are known to have mastered their devil fruit awakenings perfectly. However, the true mystery behind Zoan awakening remains unsolved. Asura form. Asura form is an extension of Zoro's spirit, containing 9 swords as the name suggests. Zoro creates 2 additional heads and 4 extra arms purely through his will, resembling a 3-headed, 6-armed demon god behind him. In this form, Zoro's power triples. He has used this technique 3 times. First during his intense duel with Kaku, where he was nearly defeated, but managed to cut Kaku down with this technique. The second time was in Sabaody against PX4 when he was on the verge of death. The third time was against Kaido, recognizing him as an emperor and knowing his immense strength, using it to inflict a permanent scar on him. There is still no confirmed information on whether this technique is connected to Haki or how it functions. Nightmare Luffy was created when Luffy and his allies discovered that Moria's devil fruit powers could be used outside of his own will. They captured shadows freed from Moria's zombie slaves and temporarily used their abilities. Using this knowledge, they implanted 100 shadows into Luffy, transforming him into Nightmare Luffy. While a normal human body can only contain 2 or 3 souls, Luffy held exactly 100 in this form. He became significantly larger, stronger, and developed a gloomy demeanor while still speaking in his usual carefree manner. All of Luffy's techniques were enhanced in this form, and due to one of the shadows belonging to a swordsman, he was able to wield a sword skillfully despite never using one before. This form lasted only 10 minutes before the shadows returned to their original owners. Germa Raid Suit. Raid suits are special technological battle suits developed by the Germa Kingdom. When activated, they rapidly cover the user's body with a specialized outfit. These suits can only be used by their designated user. They enhance the wearer's natural combat abilities and are resistant to fire, providing a certain level of protection against flames. During Sanji's fight against Queen, the suit protected him from being crushed to death despite suffering numerous broken bones. These suits are also equipped with accelerators in the heels, allowing the user to hover in midair. Their capes are bulletproof. However, special bullets from the Big Mom pirates were able to pierce them, but failed to neutralize them completely. Additionally, each suit possesses unique abilities. Judge's suit is equipped with a spear, earning him the title of Garuda due to his fighting style. Reiju's suit is poison-based, allowing her to save Luffy from poisoning. Ichiji's gloves can generate small explosions. Niji's boots and sword conduct electricity. Sanji's suit grants him invisibility. Yonji's gloves release compressed air to deliver powerful punches. General Franky. General Franky is a giant robot piloted by Franky. While all men admire this robot, women generally look at it with indifference. Vegapunk left behind some blueprints on Karakuri Island, and after being sent there by Kuma, Franky studied these plans and built General Franky. It is controlled from a single cockpit and wields a massive sword. Franky demonstrates great swordsmanship while piloting the robot, which is also equipped with various weapons. Its bulletproof defense is extremely strong. The General Omomi attack uses its weight to crush enemies by falling on them. General Left fires bullets from its arm. As a joke, General OK is used to reassure those around that everything is fine. General Shield uses the robot's star emblem as a shield, while General Shield Boomerang allows it to throw this shield at enemies. Its most powerful attack, General Cannon, releases a compressed air blast at the target, similar to a radical beam. Cavendish Hakuba form. Cavendish's Hakuba form is the result of a form of sleepwalking combined with his dissociative personality disorder, transforming him into a more sinister version of himself. When Cavendish falls asleep, Hakuba emerges, granting him such incredible speed that it is almost impossible to track, even with Haki. In the Kingdom of Rommel, people believed the wind was responsible for cutting down everyone, rather than Cavendish himself. In Dressrosa, Hakuba defeated 20 of the strongest fighters instantly without any struggle. However, because Hakuba may attack both enemies and allies indiscriminately, he poses a significant danger to those around him. ES form. When ES enters subscriber mode, it spawns 2 cute cats, and those who see it are forced to subscribe. Gear 2. Luffy first used Gear 2 in Enies lobby. This technique essentially increases Luffy's blood flow, and due to the rubber nature of his blood vessels and organs, his body can withstand high pressure. Gear 2 significantly enhances Luffy's physical abilities, allowing him to surpass Tekkai or Soru users with ease. Initially, Luffy activated it by pumping blood through his legs, but after the 2-year time skip, he became able to activate it from any part of his body. Additionally, this ability rapidly consumed his energy and posed a threat to his life, but it now appears to have fewer drawbacks. Luffy punches so fast in Gear 2 that flames emerge from his fists, a technique known as Red Hawk. Gear 3. Luffy uses Gear 3 by taking a deep breath and blowing air into his thumb, inflating a specific part of his body to an enormous size. These enlarged body parts are so powerful that they can easily destroy steel doors or large buildings. The difference between this and the Fusion technique is that in Gear 3, Luffy inflates his bones, creating an effect similar to a highly pressurized tire. In the Fusion technique, he inflates his body like a balloon to evade attacks. Additionally, Luffy can coat his enlarged limbs with haki, greatly increasing their destructive power. Initially, after using this technique, Luffy would shrink, but after the time skip, this drawback no longer occurs. Gear 4, created during Luffy's 2-year training in Rusukaina, was first seen in Dressrosa. In this form, Luffy blows air into his arm and inflates all his muscles, then coats his body with armament haki. His first form, Boundman, resembles a bouncing rubber ball constantly springing around. Luffy can retract his limbs, launching them forward with immense force like a compressed spring for highly destructive attacks. Additionally, his defense increases significantly, causing many attacks to bounce off his body. In his second form, Tankman, Luffy becomes even larger, further enhancing his defensive capabilities. His third form, Snakeman, is leaner and focused on speed. Unlike the other two forms, it lacks defensive enhancements but allows Luffy to launch his punches at incredible speeds, changing their direction mid-flight for unpredictable attacks. Gear 5, awakened from the Nika fruit, known since the Void Century as the most ridiculous power in the world, was first unlocked by Luffy. After being killed and revived, Luffy enters a form where he can manipulate not only his own body, but also his surroundings and even his enemies. This form represents Luffy's peak in terms of strength and durability. Unlike other combat styles, it adopts a more cartoonish fighting approach. He can grant rubber properties to the ground, mountains, and even his opponents. He can reflect Kaido's Bolo Breath back at him, launch himself with lightning bolts from the sky, and strike his enemies with them. As Kaido stated, Luffy's power has both Zoan and Paramecia attributes. Kaido described this ability as something straight out of a picture book. Even when Warcurry hit Luffy with a haki-enhanced roar attack, all of Luffy's wounds disappeared, and later, he was able to place those wounds back onto himself. When Kizaru hit him with a laser attack, Luffy redirected the laser out of his own eyes, continuing the fight with a highly unserious demeanor. Additionally, in this form, he can use a body inflation method to transform into a full-size giant. Luffy's attacks in this form are so ridiculous and comedic that he can chew on a tree trunk, turning it into a baseball bat to strike his opponents. However, the drawback of Gear 5 is that when Luffy exits this form, he appears as an old man. However, after eating food, he can recover and re-enter Gear 5.